Today I'm reviewing Hail Caesar. For those who don't know, this is not another Planet of the Apes film, but rather a Coen brothers comedy, mystery, drama film. Let's just say that this is a very weird movie. The movie is about a filmmaking company who is producing an epic film called Hail Caesar, when all of a sudden the star of the movie, Baird Whitlock, played by George Clooney, is kidnapped. And amidst all of this, Eddie Mannix, played by Josh Brolin, has to maintain the order and solve all the little problems that are going on in their studio, Capitol Pictures. So the film is set in 1950s. It does a great job capturing that time period. You also see good acting from mostly all the actors, particularly Josh Brolin, who steals the spotlight. He did a tremendous job. We also see good acting from Scarlett Johansson and a bit of an unknown actor, Alden Ehrenreich. I know I'm butchering his name, but they do a very good job here as well. The cinematography is superb. It's very pleasing to look at. So while we have nice acting and great visuals, there are problems with the story. And let's face it, if we don't like the story, we're more than likely not going to like the movie. To me, this movie was like a sailboat out in the open sea with no current. Much like the boat, it has a lot of potential to go somewhere. Here, this movie had a lot of potential. It had a great cast: George Clooney, Channing Tatum, Scarlett Johansson, Ralph Fiennes, Jonah Hill, Tilda Swinton from, she plays the White Witch in Narnia, Dolph Lundgren, Wayne Knight, who was in Jurassic Park and most notably in Seinfeld, he plays Newman, and obviously Josh Brolin. So, really huge cast. So as I was saying, so like the boat, it has a lot of potential to go somewhere with that talent, but it doesn't. This movie is an hour and 40 minutes long, and the whole entire time you're sitting there thinking, okay, this movie is going to get better. It's going to get better. And it doesn't. You're just waiting for it to get better, but it doesn't. The plot of the film is just so ridiculous, and it gets even more so the longer you keep watching. There's a lot of holes in the story. For one, Baird Whitlock didn't even need to be rescued. We spent an hour and a half trying to figure out, or the other characters are trying to figure out, well, how are we going to get Baird Whitlock back? Oh, here's $100,000. Maybe we'll get him back this way. They spend an hour and a half trying to get back Baird Whitlock. And this whole entire time, he could have just come back at any second because the people who kidnapped him left the door open and left the house to go out into the middle of the ocean. Now, this might have been part of the comedy of the film, I don't know, but the Coen brothers, really? I mean, you're really about to just take all the chips on the table and put it to the center just to get this one joke out? You put the fate of the movie on the line with this. I mean, I understand it's supposed to be, I guess, funny that he was kidnapped, but he wasn't really kidnapped because he could have walked out at any minute. Was that supposed to be the joke? Because you just wasted an hour and 30 minutes just trying to get that joke across. Complete waste. And then let's actually get to the point of these kidnappers who apparently left the house to go out into the middle of the ocean to, you're thinking, well, what the hell are they waiting for? Apparently they're waiting for a Russian submarine to surface. So once it does, Channing Tatum, who this whole entire time was apparently working at the studio as a communist, gets on board and just leaves. What was that whole scene about exactly? Why was that scene even in the movie? We have so many random things going on in this film that I understand it. It's a weird movie. It's a comedy. But communism, what does that have to do? Just because this movie is set in 1950s doesn't mean we have to throw in communism or all the politics that were happening during this time period. How is communism relevant to the story of the film? I understand why they kidnapped George Clooney's character, Baird Whitlock. But what does that have to do with communism exactly? I didn't understand that. I didn't get it. There's a lot of unneeded scenes. A year from now, no one's going to remember what this movie is about. If you even remember this film, you can go ahead and pat yourself on the back because there's no way anyone's going to remember anything from this movie. I guess the idea of an actor being kidnapped while he's shooting an important scene, an important film, is a pretty decent story, but the way they choose to go with it, by the end of the movie, the film just goes completely off the rails. Well, you think once we get to the end, It'll take care of itself. Everything will make sense then. Clearly that was not on the agenda of this film. This movie has one of the most abrupt endings I have ever seen in a movie, and I thought Prisoners was bad. I was sitting there in theaters, and all these other people were sitting there, and they just started showing the credits. And everyone just assumed that this was part of the movie. This is about a filmmaking company, and they're just rolling credits. We sat there for a good 3 minutes before I started looking around the theater being like, so is this movie over, or what's going on? And then some of the other people in theaters started turning their heads around thinking like, is this movie really over? And that's when we realized, yeah, this movie's over. It had, I know the Coen brothers, they don't have like the best endings to movies, I know. But this was just, it was so unresolved. I was not satisfied with this ending. You waste an hour and 40 minutes for nothing. Literally for nothing. The only redeeming factor of this film was the acting and the visuals. That is it. Otherwise, this film was full of nothing. There's nothing worth going to check out here unless you really want to see the cast, and that's pretty much it, because you're not going to go to the movie because the cinematography looks good. There's so many negatives to this film, like the holes. There's just a lot of things that aren't explained. And then this is supposed to be a comedy. I was not laughing. There was like a couple of chuckles here and there, but nothing that had me dying. I mean, Deadpool was hilarious. This film, nah. This movie was not all that good. It wasn't. There's not, would I watch it again? Probably not. There's no substance. I'm going to give Hail Caesar a C-. Alright guys, that is my review of Hail Caesar. Did you guys see this movie? What were your thoughts? Did you think it was funny? What did you think of that ending? If you haven't seen this movie and you want to go check it out now, because if you put it to the side, you're never going to go see it. Because we're early in the year, we don't really have a whole lot of great movies out right now, but as we keep going further and further into the year, you're really not going to want to watch this movie because there's going to be so much stuff to watch. So, like I said, the acting is pretty good. Josh Brolin, I think, does an Oscar-worthy performance here. Like I said, visually, it's very appealing to the eye. It's the story. The problem is with the story. It has a very bland and dry story that you just can't get behind. It's not very interesting. But if you can get around past that, definitely go check the movie out. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next time for more unboxings, reviews, and movie news.